Hi friends, I wanted to do a quick tutorial here on, I have a lot of you ask me what happens if I make a mistake or I spill some paint on, sorry for the camera shake here, doing a little adjustment. I make a mistake, I spill some paint on my picture. So I just wanted to show you a couple techniques that I use. So don't get too upset. There are ways to lift, to blot, to scrub that can help you. You may not be able to get everything off, but it can at least soften and lift it away a little bit. There are, I will tell you right away, there are certain colors that are just going to be much harder to lift. Some of those are phthalo blue, cyan blue, phthalo green, alizarin crimson, Indian yellow. A lot of the blues, reds, I think cads are harder to lift than some of the others. If you really need to get rid of those, you can always use a stiff brush. You can use a scrubber, but to me, it's not worth it. It's going to take and ruin the paper, you know, the texture that is so beautiful with watercolors. But I'm going to show you a couple different ways. So the first way, and none of these are going to be foolproof unless, let me show you, say you're painting and oh no, I dropped some paint on my paper. So if you don't let it dry, hold on, let me try and get that out of my brush. A lot of times you can just blot that up and you will get a lot of it. Just get it wet again. And if you keep repeating this many times, you can lighten it and get a lot of that out. If I kept wetting that and blotting it, a lot of that will come up and it will be very faint. So if you catch it right away, a lot of times you can go ahead and just blot it up. And I know there's a lot more techniques that some of you use, but these are the ones I use. I don't use this next one a whole lot because I don't like scrubbing my paper, but you can use a scrubber. So part of this is not dry. That's the part I'm going to show you. They actually work really well. If you have a little area, you use these scrub brushes and look at that. It basically removes. It scrubs it off. Now again, I don't like to really use these because I don't like to damage my paper, but it is an option for you. Now that was on kind of wet paint, not completely dry, but look at it. This is something I painted a while ago. And look at that. It's removing that brown. So this technique does work pretty good. Again, I don't like to use it because pinks and reds have always been harder for me to lift, especially alizarin crimson, as I already mentioned. And, you know, I just don't like to do it because it can tend to damage the paper and I don't like that look. The other technique that is typically what I would use is once it's dry, I just dampen my brush. I don't want it real wet, but I want it damp. And you kind of need a stiffer brush, but you can lift. So I'm just going to use a damp brush and just lift that paint up. You just get it wet with your brush and keep working it, and you can lift that paint up. Now again, there's certain colors that are going to lift. There's certain ones that you're just going to kind of be stuck with. But you can try that lifting. The scrubbing, again, I don't use that a lot. You can also blot. So if I was to wet this, like so, I could then blot it and it does a pretty good job removing. Let's do that again right here, just wetting this, blot, and it removes. And to be honest, the blotting is what I typically use because it won't ruin or damage your paper texture, which is what I'm always trying to protect. Somebody last time I was talking about lifting paint and picking up mistakes and such, said they use, I would probably never use this because it just feels really odd to me and like it could make a mess out of my paper. But they used these little, I don't know what these are called, but you clean your walls and things with them. So this is another option, and it does work very well. After she said it, I got on and tried it. It worked pretty well for the brown as well. It actually works very well, and to be honest, these are pretty soft, but still I try to do the blotting and the lifting with a damp brush because I don't like ruining my paper. There are lifting solutions, but I don't like that. I've even heard of somebody used masking fluid and then lifted it up off of the paint. Haven't tried that one, but you know, that's an option. So I hope these gave you a few different ideas, you know, play with them. To me, this one gets it up the best. The blotting, wetting first, and then blotting it up, I think is, for me, protects the paper integrity and all of that the best. And of course, the best option is always if you catch it right when it happens, and you can just very quickly pick it up, which is what I usually do. So like that green, I picked up right away. It's going to, of course, depend on the intensity, how dark the value was of the little drips, but for the most part, that works pretty well. So I hope this gave you some ideas. I kind of crossed out scrub again because I don't like to scrub my paper. And this paper I was using is the Artisto, very textured. You know, I love this for beginners. So if you want to maybe put some of your ideas in the comments, feel free. And I hope this helps you.